So Sufism first served the Turks to convert into Islam. Therefore, almost every Turk in Turkey, even he doesn't know anything about Sufism, has a lot of Sufi values, kind of ihsan, for example, mercy, love, tolerance to other cultures. But especially in Turkey, in Istanbul, so to speak, before they were banned in 1925, we had like 300 Sufi lodges, almost every 1,000. And remove the children and the elderly people, almost every 300 adults had a Sufi lodge. So people, not necessarily becoming a Sufi, would go to Sufi lodges at evening times, enjoy the zikr, enjoy the tea and coffee and sohbet. So people, like today we have cafes and pubs in the West, like Sufi lodges became at that time. It was not just, you could maybe drink tea, even smoke in some Sufi lodges. So it was like, not like a mosque.
But there was a cultural significance to it.
And over, of course, our music is all Sufi music. The Itri Effendi, all these great musicians in the past, like Mevlevi dervishes. So you hear music, it gives you spirituality. You go to archery club, it is a Sufi archery club, for example. You go to a wrestling club, it is again a Sufi lodge. So Sufis organize the music, organize the sports, the cultural events, also religious things. So people, you have to have one kind of Sufi connection if you're a young or old or sport-loving person. Therefore, people have sucked these Sufi ideals, Sufi principles in their lives.
Well, what's interesting, as I'm hearing you speak, in some aspects of America, when you bring up Sufism to people, they just correlate that with liberal ideals.
Or music, maybe.
Or
dancing.
Music, or as you mentioned, some group sitting there and smoking while doing the hadra. But that's not the reality of what it was here in Turkey, in Istanbul, in Ottoman culture. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
You see, Islam was in the center of Sufi training. What the Sufis want to give you is you feel that God is with you all the time. All this askar, sema, and everything. But of course, in education, you have to follow different methods to reach people's hearts. You can't reach young people as you are reaching old people, for example. So for young people, they established sports centers, like archery was very famous, and again wrestling, maybe. And for other people educated, for example, they have established Sufi lodges where you could listen to good Islamic music, so to say.
So was the end goal of this religion for them?
For always, it was like feeling Allah with you. Because the Quran says, He is with you wherever you are. But we don't feel this presence, do we?
No.
So Sufis try to make you be aware of God's presence with you all the time through zikr, through other activities like mujahidatun nafs, but also using all kind of human needs like music, like sports, like socializing. Everyone needs to socialize.
Of course.
But rather than going to a pub or a cafe, you go to a Sufi lodge and you listen to a good sheikh talking about nice things and drink your tea and coffee and socialize. So Sufism was at the center of life in Ottoman society.
So there was an attempt to not compartmentalize God from a human being's life.
Yes.
Allah matters in everything that you do.
Of course, if we have to have music, we have to have Islamic music. I mean, not bad words, not some instruments which are against Islam. If you want to make sports, for example, in Ottoman culture, we don't have boxing. Because boxing, you kill people. You hit people in the face, which is haram in Islam. But we had the best wrestlers. Because in wrestling, you can't damage anyone's face or eye or nose.
And it's a sunnah.
Sunnah, as well as this kind of sports. In archery, for example, you have very strong arms, but you never kill. In archery, the first rule, don't kill any, creature just for pleasure. You can't do that. So when you throw your arrow, you say, Ya haq. You say also when you hit the target, you read the verse وَمَا رَمَيْتَ إِذْ رَمَيْتَ وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ رَمَى. So
just to translate that when he says
whenever you hit the target, it is God, not you. It is Allah behind you. He gave you this power. So Sufism combined the real life situation and conditions, not just for the mosque, because sometimes the problem with religions, not Islam, they only think you can be religious in the church or in the synagogue or in the Buddhist temple. Whereas Sufis tell us you can be religious when you make sports, when you run, when you do some kind of sports activities, or when you sing. Because some people, they love singing, you see.
Right.
In Islam, there is some discussion about singing, and it's not very good to involve in too much in music.
Sure.
But in a limited level, if the music is good, so when you listen to it, you have good feelings. So today, if you look at the Western music or even the Turkish, unfortunate music, there are a lot of very negative emotions, sometimes very bad messages hidden in the music. So
a lot of anger.
Anger sometimes, taking revenge, or a lot of kind of objection to the qadar, to divine will. Whatever happens to you, this is not my qadar. I don't like this kind of music. So Sufism put its influence in all walks of life.
To listen to the full episode, please visit Imanwire.com.